That's
Right,
something you can always work on.
right. So let me see. I recording. Okay, not stop recording. No, not pause recording. Oh, it is recording. Oh, good. So, okay, so my name is Dr. Angelika Christie. I'm originally from Germany. You probably hear this in my accent, but I live in the Bahamas. And I have been studying the human behavior, and I'm a naturopathic doctor, wellness, health, all of these things for the last more than 35 years. And I found, and I had a brick and mortar. I had an actual health and healing center until 2009, when I wanted to bring my gift into the world in a bigger way. Because the Bahamas, my island, is a small island. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I found that there are really, throughout the years, I have taught on so many subjects, but I found that there are about seven, at least seven. I put them down as seven. I call them the seven C's to outrageous success. And there are three critical steps, seven steps, but three criticals. And the three critical steps are clarity, courage, and commitment. And we are actually going to talk about those three critical steps here today. So are you ready? Do you have something to write? Because yes, okay, so make some notes. So the, why is clarity so important? Without clarity, we are drifting. We have doubts. We don't really know where we are, and we feel that we can be stifled because if you don't have clarity, you have the tendency to be stuck, to be paralyzed, to you don't know what to do, and then you don't want to make any mistakes, so, and that leads very often to overwhelm, because when you are overwhelmed, then you have too many things going on at the same time. You do not have clarity. So it's kind of a frozen state almost, when you don't have clarity and you feel overwhelmed. And it really robs you of opportunities. So you cannot really move forward to any goal if you don't have clarity. It's almost like your internal GPS system. Today, we don't read maps anymore. We plug something in, we know where we are in our car, and we know where we want to go. So then we take technology to take us there, correct? And we can have some detours, but as long as we have this plugged in, where we need to go and have clarity why we want to go there, then we will always come back on track. Okay, so sometimes we have a big goal. So we may have a big goal and we know what that is, but then we don't know what the steps are to get there. So clarity is not only having that big goal, and knowing what you want. You can lose a lot of energy trying to figure out this on your own, how to get from where you want to go without knowing the steps that you need to know. Clarity, next step, clarity, next step, clarity. Without clarity, you actually have confusion. And that often leads to stress, confusion and stress. And it's a vicious cycle because there are false starts, something doesn't work, and then there are false starts because you were not clear enough, and then it pulls you back. Then you may give up, and that would be so sad. And the only thing that you needed is more clarity. Okay, so there are certain ways to get to that clarity. So, you know, I would like for you to actually, maybe if you can write this down. You have to know, first of all, just like the GPS system, where am I? Where am I? And then you have to know, what is really the journey? What do I really want? Where is the goal? Where do I want to go? And then you need to know, what is the next step that will take me there? Because just when you take a trip, let's say you take a whole day's trip, or let's say you take a weekend trip, so you have overnight in there as well. You not only need to have the destination and know where you are, but now you need to know, what do I take with me, right? What do I, or maybe I have to take somebody with me who would provide a certain service to me. Maybe I need to pack food and water if I have a couple of hours without being able to stop at a restaurant. Where am I going to stay overnight? So there are all these things that if you have everything in place, you don't feel overwhelmed anymore, correct? You know exactly what you need, where you go, who to take with you, what not to take, because it's also important to make sure that you don't take things that you don't need to take, because it will just overburden you and confuse you. And and that could be even a person. It could be a person drives you crazy and on that long stretch of journey. So you need to know that too, who to take with you, who not to take with you. And you feel a greater access to yourself when you are really in command of all of these parts to your clarity. And I always say, every person, and of course I serve women, and for women it's really, really, I know it's true. There is a diamond in you. You are a diamond. You are a gift, but you are the diamond. And the diamond in the raw, in nature, is not shining. It's not sparkling. It is, but it's still a diamond. So what we want to do is, through self-development and bringing ourselves into our highest possible achievement, or what we really want to fulfill our dreams, we have to start removing everything that hinders that. It's not so much learning, it is removing. It's removing the dirt, the grind, the limiting beliefs, the illusions. So it's more of removing. So the best way to do this is really to go within and ask yourself, what do I want? Why do I want this? Where would that take me? Or what is it that it will be different in my life? And then later on we get to courage, because sometimes you need courage in order to make those changes, correct? So if you, very often, you also need to know another thing, and that is, what are my core values? What is it that I will never betray? What is it that is me, that I will not betray, I will not give up? I don't want to say I want to die for it, but it's that strong, it's just immovable, it's not negotiable. These are my core values. So it's really important to become very clear about what really are your core values. Because if your outer life is not in alignment with your core values, then nothing will ever work. It's always difficult. There's always stress. There's always misalignment. And you're actually in pain. You're actually suffering. And we women have this incredible capacity to suffer in silence. We blame ourselves. But if we would know how easy certain things are to fix, and one of the major things is to be in alignment with your own inner truth, which is really your core values. And then you align your outer life according to that, not the other way around. You want this life and you just have a fantasy and then you create it. But if that's not in alignment with who you are on the inside, then you're constantly bucking. It's not going to flow. It's not going to work. Okay, so I made some notes so that I stay on yeah. Your brain actually loves to have clarity, because when your brain doesn't have clarity, it goes into distractions. It goes into looking for a substitute. It goes into getting addictions, and so often it's food, it's shiny objects. For some, it could be, sex. For some, it could be having always needing to have the newest gadget. And some need love from others. They need it so much that they become addicted to it, that they become codependent on somebody else making them happy. When the reality is, nobody can make you happy. Happiness is who you are. Happiness resides within you. Okay? So if you want to take a moment and but you can do this also later, to write down your core values. Make sure that at some time you write it, and then also you can't just do it once. Sometimes our core values shift a little bit, so always check in with them. Okay. So do you have any? Yeah, I have to go to the next one, I guess. We are already pretty much in it. Do you have any questions about clarity?
Are you talking about clarity of goals, or clarity in what sense? Who you are?
All of that.
All
For
of it.
everything, you need clarity. And I just wanted to let you know how important it is for everything in your life, even for your relationships. If you don't have clarity, you just stumble into it, and then, anything can happen. But if you know what kind of relationship you want, then you know exactly what to look for, and you have to have clarity. I'm going into a relationship right now because everything in life is relationship with ourselves. So that's why we need to be clear about ourselves, and relationship with others. So if I don't have clarity what I want in a relationship, then I cannot really look for the person that matches, what I want. And then I'm just taking a chance, and that's maybe why so many relationships go bad, because a relationship needs not only clarity, and then of course you need to be courageous, because you need to share, you need to open up, become vulnerable, and then the other one is you need to commit, right? There's also a commitment there. So all of that is needs clarity. When you have it, it should go so much easier than if you don't. Yeah, that makes sense now. So it's applicable to all areas of life. And actually the three, that's why I call them critical steps, because they are critical, because they apply not just to one part, they apply to everything in your life. Martine, we have somebody else joining us here, it looks. Hello, Martine. Okay, so we are already in it. The first one was clarity, and the second critical step is courage. And courage is a funny thing. We do have, we think courage is something heroic. It is not heroic. Courage is actually something we have been born with, because for example, a baby who takes its first step needs courage every time it falls. It has to learn 100 times, 500 times, and it needs courage to try again and try again and try again. And so courage can be something for others, and it's easier for us to see how we apply courage to others. If a child drowns, is about to drown in the pool, there is no problem to have the courage to jump in the pool to rescue that child. Or it is easier to rescue or have courage for somebody else. But we need to have courage for ourselves. It's really one of the most important things to for ourselves, and sometimes we forget about that. Courage means to embrace challenges. And embracing challenges creates also one opponent to that, and that is resistance. Okay? So as soon as you want to get out of your normal, everyday, what you are used to the courage to break free from something. It may be, getting up earlier in the morning. Everything that you want to change. It may be losing that 10 pounds or eating better or whatever it is. It takes courage to make that change. It takes courage to say clarity. We talked about that. I want that. So you have that clarity. Now the next step is courage. It takes courage to actually change things. We are such creatures of habit that it is, and that's why, we make goals, and if we don't have these steps, then we fall back and we renege on them because it's too hard. It takes internal courage to push that cake away, that you really would love to eat, or it takes courage to commit to something that feels uncomfortable. But you have to do this in order to fulfill what you want to do. So courage is also something that your brain loves, because we are naturally, our primal brain needed courage all the time because we needed to survive. Today we don't have these predators anymore that we need to run away from. We have a comfortable life, so it looks like our ability to be really courageous in everything has kind of waned. It has shriveled up a little bit, and it's actually in our brain as well. So when you change something, when you challenge yourself, and you have the victory of having broken through and actually did something that scared you before, but you knew there was no threat to your life, because there's almost nothing you can do that actually threatens your life. But what you do is you just break old forms. You break the routine. You break through something that has always kind of held you back or put you in a certain way, and you want to change it. You have to break through that, and that takes courage. And safety. A lot of people say, well, there is safety. I'm afraid, so there is safety if I don't do this. But there is no true safety on the outside. Safety resides within you. As I said, you will never really risk your life because there will be that instinct that pulls you back. You're not going to jump off the cliff. That's not going to happen. You're not going to, if you cannot swim, to jump, somewhere in the water where you may drown. You just don't do that. But courage is important for things that you want to achieve. And as soon as as you push through that, there comes the resistance, is this safe or whatever. But safety, as I said, is really something that is within you. You can always find safety within you. Okay, so when it comes to business, of course, courage means to embrace failing and starting again, picking yourself up and do it again. It takes courage to say, it's okay, I will do it again. I will try, or will try something else. Never to give up takes courage. Okay, so the benefits of courage is really a true liberation. There is nothing more liberating than having broken through something that you were afraid of or had resistance, or you, because all of these things that are in your head going around, I'm not good enough, what will they think of me, maybe I'm this and I'm not that, and all this self-talk is really is a way of holding you back. Okay, so we have to break through that, but that takes some coaching. I cannot share that with you here, but you understand what it means, right? Yeah, so really courage robs you the opportunity to try something new, I mean, if you don't have courage, if you don't have the courage. Okay, so we did courage. Yeah, we only have another 15 minutes because I want to leave some time for questions. And the last one is commitment. Oh my goodness, commitment is something that we all know about it, right? We all know about commitment. You know why? Because when we were growing up, we had to make commitments. We made commitments to our parents to behave, to be the good girl, right? We made commitments to go to school and be the best we could do there. Our entire life has been about commitments outside of ourselves, commitments that others told us we need to make, okay? And those commitments give commitments a bad rap, because it seems as if it's heavy. It feels as if it's restrictive. Really, it's commitment is one of the most rewarding thing, because without commitment, nothing really works, right? Can you count all of the commitments you made in the past or presently that you're still committed to, and that you feel you cannot break because of religion, because of a promise you made, but it is not what you really want anymore? It's a promise that doesn't feel right anymore. Are there still commitments that you feel bound to? Just take maybe a minute to think about that and write it down. I think as a woman, if you want to have children, the greatest commitment is being a mother. And that is a commitment that is total, That's not a commitment we renege on. But there are so many commitments to other people that when they don't feel good anymore in your body, you know exactly that something is not right. And then you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. And I would like for you to write those questions down. The first one is, why have I committed, and why do I believe that this is, that this commitment is necessary or true? And the next one is, who told me so? I mean, who told me that this commitment was a binding commitment? And then, is it really, really true? But there is one commitment that without that kind of commitment, nothing in your life will ever work. And that is the commitment to yourself. And we women have this, I think we were trained to please others before we look at ourselves. We have this capacity to make everybody happy and to please others before we, and commit to others before we commit to ourselves. But the commitment to yourself is the highest commitment you can do, you can have. So the inner journey to understand, first of all, the clarity about what your life is all about, the clarity about what do I really want, who am I, what are my core values, and then we then have the courage to act on it, to do what your dream is. Because let me tell you, the graveyards are filled with unrealized dreams, and and so many people also, once they're on their deathbed, they regret that they did not make that commitment to themselves, to their dream, to their have the courage to ask for what they want and what was necessary to get there, because there is so much more to achieving something than just wanting it. There are so many steps, of course, clarity and the courage and the commitment, but then these are just the critical steps. But then everything in between there is all interconnected in order to fulfill your legacy, your gift, because let me tell you, you are gifted. You are, first of all, a total original, one of a kind that God has created with your particular abilities, your gifts, your ability to change other people. When you are in alignment and true to yourself, you become a beacon of light. I know this, and the people who have the audacity to be themselves, right? To be courageous. They are attractive, are they not? They are attractive because they have magnetism. We are attracted to people who are courageous, who do things that we may be timid. Not, flying to the moon or something like this. No, every day courageous. Being courageous in defending somebody or speaking your truth, standing in your power, without being pushy. Just be certain and knowing that your life is yours and nobody and nothing can destroy that. You cannot even be hurt. Nobody actually can hurt you either unless you give them permission. So you are this incredible piece of art, this incredible one-of-a-kind specimen that is divine because you have God within you that has the capacity to create something that only you can create. Nobody else. And you have this mandate to find that gift within yourself and develop it. Because if you don't develop it, you will feel not only disappointed, but you will feel in pain. At the end of your life, you will feel in pain. And you will say, that I wish, but you waited too long. So it is really, really important to take inspired action. To first of all, let's go quickly through it, become clear exactly about not only what you want, but where you are and where you want to go and all the steps in between. Take noise out of your mind. Listen to yourself. Don't listen to everybody else. Find, and there are so many beautiful people in this group of Turia who are so spiritual, and God is, we all are God's children, and the strongest voice is the voice of God within us. I call it your soul self, which I believe is speaking to you all the time, but it's not shouting. The mind is shouting, but your mind does not know who you are. Your soul has the blueprint for your perfect life. But you have to go within, you have to listen, and you have to become still, because the soul whispers while the mind shouts. Okay, then is there any question about that? No? Sounds good. Okay, so we have really these three components. Clarity, so that you know you're on a journey. All of life is a journey, and your relationship with yourself depends on how good that is, where your journey is going, because nobody can even tell you where your journey should be. This is totally up to you. And you can stop a journey and start a new one too. Nothing is ever set in stone. And as hard as it sometimes feels, even relationships sometimes need to be, I say, loved free. You can do it in a terrible way, and I don't recommend that. But if it's not serving your purpose, your life, anymore, then we need to honor it, what was, because it brought you to the place where you're now, and then love it free. And I have a special way of doing this, loving something free. And then we go to, did I just lose you, Cynthia? And Anne and Sylvia? Nobody's on video here. Oh, there you're back, okay. Okay, so you make a commitment to yourself. And your inner child always knows. Hi, Sylvia. Always knows, always feels right. It's correct. It's your gut feeling. It's your soul feeling. It is your inner child is the connection to your soul. And it's always correct. So listen. Listen to your inner child. Listen to you rather than to outside noise. And noise is what we have, on our iPhone, on social media, and there are always two sides to it, right? You need also clarity, courage, and commitment to use this in your favor and not having it destroy you, because it can destroy you. It can destroy your dreams. It can destroy your sanity. It can destroy your health. And so be very aware that, and very clear about what you want from some of the noise, like the electronic noise. What is the good part and what is not good? Please just stop it. But we are addicted, so whatever we are addicted to is very difficult to stop. And that's why, for example, when I do a retreat, I don't allow anybody to bring their devices. If it is a special retreat to go within and find yourself, no electronic devices. If you need to, if they travel and they need to be in a hotel, they need to leave it in the hotel. Don't bring it to the retreat, because there will be constant disturbances. Before we had this, you had to pick up the telephone. But today it's almost as if you run to the telephone, pick it up all the time and say, oh, anybody there? Anybody there? And so we check our phones all the time, it's crazy. So get rid of noise, because once you get rid of noise, you will become so much clearer about what you want, who you are. And then from that clarity and confidence comes your courage. It supports your courage to do something that you were afraid to do before. With enough clarity and taking all of this noise away, you have a much clearer path. And then stay committed. And commitment is not 50% commitment or 80% commitment. Doesn't work. Commitment is commitment is commitment. It needs to be 100%. So don't overwhelm yourself by committing to something that you may renege on, because that brings a lot of stress. We don't want that. Make small commitments first. Start small, step by step. Make another commitment. Maybe if you want to lose weight, it's really for anything. Make a commitment to let go of something. If you drink alcohol, maybe reduce it to 1 glass an evening. Or if you have if your sweets or cake or cookies or something like that, I would say remove it. It's difficult to take just a little piece of a cake. It's easier to actually remove it, because then you don't need willpower. Once it's gone, it's gone. Once it's there, you're constantly, going there. Willpower is very, very tiring, to always. And then you do it. You fail, and then you beat yourself up, which is not a good thing. So, take the things that you want to eliminate from your life, take them away. Maybe for periods of times, maybe just for 1 day, and then build on that. On the other hand, if you want to add something, add more love. For example, in relationships, sometimes we are so into our own life that we forget, when you have a partner, that communication is really, really important. Or a hug, or saying something nice. Not bitching, maybe not bitching for a full day, not bitching for a full week, It's just, you do steps, and then every time you can increase your commitment to achieve something, it is easier. It becomes easier and easier, okay? Commitment to get up, for me, one of my most difficult commitments was actually getting up early in the morning. I'm a night owl, and I know it's not good for me to wait until 1 or 2 o'clock to go to bed. And it took baby steps and a commitment to those baby steps until now. I'm usually in bed by 11 o'clock, and I get up before 7, so that's good. Yeah, so it's a journey. And most of all, love yourself. Through all of it, your clarity, once you get more clarity, it is easier to love yourself. And, it should be easy to love yourself, but it's not. It is easier to love somebody else, because you can love somebody for their lovable parts, but you cannot love yourself that way. You have to love all of you. You cannot take parts out of you. So be gentle, be loving, honor yourself. Watch what's going on in your internal dialogue. And every time you say something negative about yourself, and it goes, like this, stop it right there. And you have to replace it with something positive right away. So when you have these 3 steps, total clarity, the courage to do what will bring the things into your life that you actually want, and the commitment to you, not to everybody else, but to you. You will absolutely, without any question, move from mediocre to magnificent, from surviving to thriving. That's really what it takes. And and then what you are. When you remove all of the frills and all of the noise and all of this, you become more and more aware of what you are really good at, your gifts, and sometimes they need to be unpacked. All of a sudden, a new gift comes up, and say, "Oh, I didn't even know that I like this so much." So, but with the courage, you may try something else, and you say, "Oh my God, I didn't even know I would love it so much." So that's then a step to have discovered something that you're probably good at. So we have 10 minutes, okay. And so the other thing is the commitment is so misunderstood, and self-love is so misunderstood, because commitment to yourself is self-love. But self-love is not selfish, never selfish. Self-love is self-healing. It is self-honoring. Because you are love. Your essence, your energy is love. You have been conceived in love. You have been, what is the word? Sometimes, I'm German, so sometimes I look for a word that I know in German and I don't know it in English. But you have been gifted by God, the most capable entity in the entire universe. You have been gifted with something very, very special that you have and nobody else. So find that, and if you develop that, and it doesn't have to be everything, just develop your gift and bring that into your life to profit from, to teach others, and to make the world a better place. Because nobody has that gift, but you are that gift to yourself. I say you are the gift you have been waiting for. And if you can see it in yourself, then you start to shine and radiate, and others love to be in your presence. And then they can learn from you, and you give them permission, even though they don't need permission, but almost like they mirror you, and so they have permission to be them, to become their shining, most amazing, I say, the unapologetic, magnificent woman that you're meant to be. Unapologetic, because you don't need apologies, right? You only need clarity, courage, and commitment. And of course, I have 7 C's, and I would like for you to download my 7 C's to outrageous success, my free blueprint. And I wonder if I can put this in here or not.
You can put it in the chat.
I can put it in the chat? Okay. Let me just see. Do you know something? I give you my WhatsApp telephone number and my email. That's easier. Okay, so my WhatsApp number is 305-343-8324. And Angelika at angelikachristie.com. Okay, that's my email. And just put in it, when you write an email, workshop, breakthrough workshop, and I give, not only do I give you this for free, but also I share something else with you that would only be for you. Yeah, okay. So any questions? We have just a couple of minutes. Please unmute yourself and ask me any question you have.
I had a question. I was going to let Sylvia go first. Did you? Because I already asked my question first. Did you have any?
Sylvia, you want to?
Oh, no, I don't have any questions.
No?
I just have a comment. No, I just have a comment. I think this is really good. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I find it so healing. Your voice is very healing too.
Yeah, thank you. So I also, because I teach on those 3 critical steps. So if you guys like, I can also send you a document on those critical steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and I'm just thinking about like people that you've known from the past and that you kind of used to be friends with, and they come up, and it's like you're no longer in that that same mind space.
Yes. Yeah.
That
Yes.
you were in when you were I guess I just say myself when I was dealing with them. And
yes.
I know kind of sometimes it's kind of triggering to me. And it's kind of like I feel like God's calling me into a new I guess a new season, a different season.
Yeah,
so I guess
you see, you have the sometimes people have wrong responsibilities or misunderstood responsibility. Your responsibility is for yourself. And your responsibility is not to make somebody else happy,
Yeah.
you know, or to make it easier for somebody and you're suffering.
Yeah.
That's not it. It does not honor you, and it doesn't honor the other person either, you know. So yes, your responsibility is to you to be true to yourself. And sometimes we have to leave relationships. I mean, I left actually my first relationship. I left because I fell in love with a Bahamian man who was my soulmate. It was very, very unusual, and I didn't plan this. This was just, I mean, it was just like God picked me up in Germany and put me into the. It's a long story, but then I thought he was my soulmate, and he is my soulmate. But I didn't understand what a soulmate was. A soulmate is not a bliss bunny. Sometimes a soulmate, but if it's honorable and makes it difficult for you, and you don't like to look at the things that that you need to look at, that could be a soulmate. And because it in a soulmate relationship, you help each other to grow spiritually, to grow in who you are. So this will never be somebody who abuses you, you know, but it can be challenging, you know. And so since I didn't understand that, we separated, and I left him for 10 years, and then we married again, and now we have an incredible relationship. Now 12 years ago we married again, second time. So sometimes, you know, sometimes relationships don't fit anymore, but sometimes you just need a break, you know, and it could come back. But you never burn bridges. If it's honorable, you always stay in honor. You know, that I think that's really what one of the most important things are. Yeah. Okay, I think we need to leave, but thank you so much. And
It was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was really good. Thank you.
Please, I'm excited to send you my the 7 steps, because I only talked about 3. Yeah.
Wonderful. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I could crop it out for you.
It was coming out right on the PowerPoint too. So I'll kind of minimize it a little bit so that it's not too much of a, well, for the second one, and I'll do it the same way. But I think it is going to go to the computer.